I want to go across now to Amit Prothi, Director General at the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, head of the G20 Disaster Risk Management Panel. Amit, now this is an industrial state, or as industrial as any Indian state, and there's a lot of industrial infrastructure, and one of the concerns that people will have is the kind of impact that this cyclone could potentially have on industrial infrastructure in the area, and how to build infrastructure going forward to be able to minimize damage from cyclones such as Biparjoy.
First of all, Rahul, thank you for having me. I think my work is, the rest of the people who've been on the panel have been talking about the urgency of what's going on today. The work of the coalition is a little bit longer term. So your question about how do we minimize damage in the long term is important, very, very important. Dr. Mohapatra talked a little bit about how vulnerability has been increasing because our development pattern is also going, we need the coastal areas for a certain reason. We're developing a lot, and that will not stop. So we need to build infrastructure, we need to build industrial parks, we need to build ports, etc., etc., etc. So the role of the coalition really is how do we start to understand how risk is changing. And the risk is changing because of the development pattern, but also because climate change and other factors. So what we are trying to do is, first of all, understand how risk is changing. You can't now build based on historical patterns. Patterns have been changing. The globe is now 1.1 degree warmer. That's causing certain changes in cyclonic wind speeds, gust speeds. So what we are trying to do as a coalition is trying to understand, we've got better science now, so how does this whole risk profile change? So from that understanding, we are also trying to see how does one then advise the codes that inform building of infrastructure, the training of engineers and others who are out building all of this infrastructure, the investors who are putting in money behind this infrastructure. So what we are trying to do is, with an understanding of risk, trying to then see how different sectors in the infrastructure space, how different actors can take some better decisions based on a better understanding of this. So for example, if wind speeds on an average are increasing or gust speeds are increasing, we are building infrastructure that's going to last for 30, 40, 50 years. How do we take that into account in what we are going to be building in the future? How do we take that into account into what we already have and what we might need to retrofit? So that's the perspective that we bring. And as a coalition, we've got 31 member countries. We are also sharing examples. So, this what's happening today in Gujarat, we've seen examples. All of us remember Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, etc., etc. We've learned along the way. So the coalition is also about sharing across from one part of the world to others. Dr. Mahapatra talked about how India has also learned a number of things that we are sharing with others. Similarly, in the coalition, others are sharing with us to improve our standards, to understand risk better, to help make decisions with a better understanding of this.
Amit Prothi, we wish you the best. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate your insights and thoughts. Thank you.